So let me just give you a snapshot as to potentially why it was almost difficult not to have Bek here today. 12 months ago, you heard the story. We met her in January last year officially, right? Since that point, she's had an increase in revenue of 350% on the knocker. December alone was a $100,000 plus month, right? So you do the numbers. Those that are good at numbers, you'll start doing numbers here. Hamper sales have gone from average 10 a month to almost 200. And we're trending towards 400. Better client experience systems. In other words, the customer is not only a customer for today, but they must be a client for life. There is no thing worse. There is no excuse but to have a client that tries you today who is a shopper and they've done nothing more, nothing less than experienced whether you are the genuine deal, that come back and buy from you the second time. When a customer buys from you the second time, that is the point that they are a customer. You have delivered on your promise the first time, they were just shopping. The second time, they're a customer. Understand that one, guys. And the key to business is lifetime value. You need to know that number in your business. So, better clients experience systems, market share growth and expansion into other bolt-ons, such as cooking classes. This time last year, we weren't doing them. This year, we're booked out weeks and months in advance. We need to put second and third cooking classes on every time we're running them. That's how amazing the retention and new introduction of referrals has been for cooking classes and what Bek does. So much so that we're also expanding into major events around the cooking experience, for which we're flying international stars in the cooking space to come and teach us how to do amazing things. So database has grown 100% from to 1,500 plus. Average dollar sale in January 2014 was $26.03. In July, it was $49.26. In January 15, it's $61.39. You want to grow a business? You've got to know your numbers. You've got to understand where is the effort going and what have I just created in terms of value for the effort I put in building my business. Don't worry about being busy. Let's hear this story. Bek McMillan. How do you feel?
Yeah, good. Those numbers sound all right.
They sound all right?
No.
Yeah, your bank account thinks so too. Okay. Do you remember when we met 12 months ago in January 2014? What was the crossroad at that point? I mean, I've painted a picture, but tell the crowd here, what did it feel like at that point?
Well, basically, my busiest season was over. Christmas was done, and I looked at what was in the bank account and the debts that I owed to the creditors, and there was a massive problem. I was about to take on my quiet time, and there was basically I needed to make a change. At that point, I remember meeting Stefan, and I said, I'm giving this 18 months, and that is it. I want to start a family, and if I don't progress this business in that time, I'm going to have to let it go and walk away. Yeah.
So what was your vision? Let's go back a moment. I mean, you started the business, but what was the vision when you started?
Yeah, so I always wanted to sort of promote local Australian producers. So that's the reason why I do this. And the vision was to create this hub where the local products are there, and I can teach everyone in our community about those brands and support them. And I wanted this business to grow and for people to know about it and continue to come back. And that was happening initially, and then obviously it stopped happening, and I got knocked down.
Yeah. You got knocked down from what perspective though?
Well, I was trying to grow the hamper side of my business and things like that, and I would continually get no's. And that would knock me down. I'd lose all my confidence.
As in no's being rejection?
Rejection.
And who needs to be your best friend?
Rejection. There was no wages. There was a year of me working 70-hour weeks, if not more, and not getting anything to show for it. There was zero profit, and definitely some changes needed to be made there.
So if you think about, I mean, we've just heard a few of the from-tos in terms of results and outcomes, tangible results and outcomes. But what was the single change in terms of, you needed to ensure needed to happen for you to ultimately be here today that ultimately is not just 18 months to go anymore, is there? What was the single change in the last 12 months?
In regards to in the business? Or, well, basically taking on someone to hold me accountable for all the goals or the vision where I wanted to take my business. I needed to understand the steps that were involved in that, how to get there, and someone to basically hold me accountable for all of that. And that wasn't going to be my husband or my family, even though as supportive they are. The last thing I want is to come home from a 70, 80-hour week and someone say to me, oh, well, why didn't you pull these numbers this week, and what happened in your business this week? So moving in with Board of Directors 12 really that was the biggest step for me and my business wouldn't have, grown to this level without that and what I've learnt from that.
And as much as that's a support mechanism and hang on, it's okay, keep on going. Ultimately, as a person, as an individual, as a business owner, did you start changing some of your identity? Definitely.
I got all of my confidence and drive and ambition back because I realised, what these no's were meaning and how I could then turn them around to yeses or see them as a positive light. I could see that if they're not my customer now, if they're not saying yes today, they potentially will be in the future when they are ready and they understand, what my product and what my business can do for them. The cooking class aspect of the business also grew my confidence as well because I've learnt so much more about educating people in order for them to then, want to continue using my product and understanding what I offer.
Yeah, so confidence, when you think about the word confidence, and for all of us in the room, confidence is such a recipe for success, and unhealthy confidence is definitely, it's an adverse factor, but confidence in terms of self-image, belief. But to get self-image and belief, you've got to have, clarity about what it is that's important in the next period. So I guess going from 10 hampers a month, which was a big part of the business back then, right? That was a core product, to 200 and going. What do you believe in terms of confidence and clarity has impacted that growth curve?
So implementing quite a few systems into my business is what has helped with that growth. It's the main part of it. My sales structure, which I didn't know how to, follow up and things like that prior to all of this. My sales structure and the thorough follow-up process has really enabled me to grow that side of the business. I'm at the point which I wouldn't have assumed that I would be at, where I can now hire a sales member to take on my system and grow the sales side of the business also.
Are you confident about that?
I am confident because I've tested and measured my system. I know how my system works, and if we work together to adapt the system to her style also, we can hit our goals. I am confident that will happen because I've put the system in place to ensure that it does.
Yeah. So when you think about the next 5 years, Bek McMillan, Gourmet Living, when you think about 5 years out, dare me say you need to walk in those shoes today so that every decision is aligned to that. What do you see out there for you as an individual, as a business owner, maybe even an investor in the business, no needing to turn up every day? What do you see for your business 5 years out?
Yeah, five years out, I do expect to be a business owner and not just, and the best business owner at that, not just someone who's in my business actually making every single hamper and being an employee in there. So that's how I expect my business to look, and I know that is definitely achievable. I, expect to be doing over 600 hampers. Well, 600 hampers was the goal for 12 months. So 5 years, that'll increase quite a bit. But I expect to have a warehouse and have grown my brand where I can dispatch and create hampers from a warehouse. I will have my cooking school and my own commercial kitchens on site also, and my own range of products will be launched in the next 12 months. I know that these things will happen because I've already putting the systems in place, putting the plans in place, I'm setting the goals, and I know what could potentially go wrong and how I could fix that if that were to be the case.
Do you think this will ever finish?
No.
This journey of being a business and growing a business?
No. From what in Gourmet Living, or me as a Gourmet Living, when I first created Gourmet Living, I wanted to turn it into a franchise. That was my goal. I was like, one day I'm going to have this business and there's going to be heaps of them and it's going to be an empire. And then when I got knocked down, I was like, oh, maybe I can't do that, you know? And now I'm back at in that mindset where I can see, hey, actually, if that's the path I want to go down, it is achievable and I can have Gourmet Living as that brand. I think that's definitely the path I expect to see us in 5 years' time. And I definitely will have a family because I'll be no longer needed to be in my business 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah, well done. Looking forward to that. And again, that's it's interesting. Beck started year 2, her group started year 2 in Board of Directors 12 on Monday evening, and we had to put in our, make a note of our 12-month goals and our 90-day goals, and the 12-month goal is, what was the consequence of not, coming close or significantly moving towards the goals that we've put up there. And one of the consequences that we wrote is, there's a smiley face called baby with a question mark that might be compromised if we don't get proactive, not in having babies, but growing, which let me just say, may need some practice occasionally. Because you just never know what you don't know. Might need some salt therapy occasionally. But no, more importantly, your baby called Gourmet Living, if we give that its full attention right now, with a harmonious alignment. In other words, I don't buy into work-life balance. That's bullshit. That's a book that should never be read. It's about harmony, guys. There's going to be times that you need to put in 24/7, and there might be 5 days in a row that you need to do that. But on the 6th and 7th and 8th day, you will spend time with your family, and you won't ever need to do the 24/7 again. That's called business, small business owner harmony. I'm going to do whatever it takes to deliver my goods on the promise every single time on budget for the customer and for me, and ultimately I'll have what is called the other side, called harmony for life. So the next 12 months, you've given us 5 years, the next 12 months is more of the
expansion on the hamper side of business and the cooking classes. We're growing our average dollar sale up to about $85. I'll be doubling my revenue in the next 12 months. And hampers is the huge thing for us. I've got to definitely expand on the things that are working in my business, and the next 12 months is about going times 10 on those 2 avenues of the business. 4 major events per year is what I'm also going for, and those events are events to work with other businesses where we have similar target markets, and the events are designed to be mutually beneficial for everyone involved. So as Stefan touched on earlier, at the start of the year we brought in a chef from Italy, and we had a big cooking class which benefited a few businesses involved, and we'll be doing another one in a few months. And basically these events are designed to help grow my database, and I'll be doubling the database by the end of the year also.
Excellent. So when I say focus sheets, what does that mean for you?
Every single week I put down my 4 main goals for the week on the focus sheets, and those jobs are not things like that should be on your to-do list. Those tasks that I put on the focus sheet are tasks that are going to grow my business. And before Board of Directors 12, my to-do lists were huge and I would never accomplish everything, and nothing on that list was actually anything that was going to generate more business and help to grow my business. It was all just your day-to-day tasks. So default diary has been huge for me since I started Board of Directors 12, and I'm non-negotiable on the time that I need to spend in order to grow my business. And at first that was just making 5 phone calls a day to corporate companies for hampers and things like that, whereas now the tasks are stepped up another notch again. So
are you okay for that?
I am okay with that, and I'm excited about all of that.
Okay, give us 3 tips. 3 tips for anyone that's at a crossroad, moving forward, obviously, because we're not going backwards. What are 3 tips that you can share for the room right now?
Planning. Planning is very important. Like your vision, you've got to outline your vision. You've got to plan it basically. But the most important part with that is that when you're executing or leading to your execution, once you know the steps you need to take, you need to have someone holding you accountable. And I would have never have completed all the steps or executed out my plan if I didn't have someone there saying, hey, have you done this? And hey, did you take that next step? Because you get stuck in your everyday routine. Also, big ideas. I mean, brainstorming with your team is really important to come up with new ideas. And hearing their feedback on what could go wrong in the ideas that you might not see is really invaluable, because this new idea might be the next big thing for your business, as what cooking classes was for mine. I didn't want to do it at the start. I thought, oh, it's so much work, it's so much effort. When I sat down with Stefan, he said, hey, but look at this and look what it can do. And that one big idea has managed to change everything. It saved my cash flow, which was the huge thing. Seek advice as well. Like Board of Directors 12 has been huge for me. So your education, you need to continue learning about what you can do to help, to grow your business. So education is really important.